Today, Apple announced the new 2016 MacBook Pros. As much as I've been waiting for this day to come, and as much as I'm excited for them, there are some letdowns about these new models that I want to share with you. So these are my top 5 biggest disappointments for the new 2016 MacBook Pros, starting with the price. These things are super expensive. Now, we always expected Apple products we always expect them to be overpriced, and you're spending a lot of money on something, and they're premium products. And I've always said you get what you pay for, but with these 2016 MacBook Pros, they're way expensive. They're way more expensive than what they should be. So for example, last year's 13-inch MacBook Pro started at $1,299. This year's base model 13-inch MacBook Pro starts at $1,499. That's a $200 price increase. They usually don't do that. They usually start at the same price. And this is for the base 13-inch MacBook Pro that doesn't even have the new Touch ID or Touch Bar on it. And even in the UK, it used to be £999, and now it's £1,449, which is a huge increase in price. And again, that's just for the base model without any of the new Touch Bar or anything like that, which we'll get into right now, which is my second biggest letdown, and that is the confusion. There are now two 13-inch MacBook Pro models, the non-Touch Bar and non-Touch ID model, and then the one with the Touch ID and Touch Bar. This will be confusing to a lot of potential buyers, so if you're going to look for a MacBook Pro online and you see the 13-inch MacBook Pro, if you're not paying attention, you might end up ordering the one that doesn't have the Touch Bar and Touch ID if you're not careful. Hopefully you'll look into the details right underneath it. But the base 13-inch MacBook Pro is now the new MacBook Air. So Apple basically killed off one of the best student laptops with the MacBook Air and replaced it with this new 13-inch MacBook Pro model that doesn't have Touch Bar and Touch ID. Moving on to the third biggest disappointment, ports. So all of these MacBook Pro models in 2016, all they have are Thunderbolt 3 ports. No more SD card slot, no more USB 2.0 or USB 3.0 ports, not even a Lightning connector. So you can't even connect your new iPhone 7 to your new 2016 MacBook Pros. Not even that, you can't even connect your new iPhone 7 earbuds to your MacBook Pros. Do you know what that means? That means you're gonna have a lot of dongles in your life. A lot of dongles. The next biggest letdown for me is the specs. So Apple did manage to up the base storage in the 13-inch model from 128 gigabytes to 256 gigabytes. But if they did that, then they should have upped the storage for the 15-inch base model from 256 gigabytes to 512 gigabytes. I just don't think 256 gigabytes is enough for a professional laptop, especially when it's at about $2,400 starting out. So certain aspects of those specs should have been better, especially at those price points. And moving on to my last biggest letdown, and that is the gimmicks. As you've probably seen or heard by now, the most highlighted new feature of the new MacBook Pros is the OLED Touch Bar across the top. Now, obviously I've never used it before, and it just seems tiny bit gimmicky to me. While these other manufacturers like Dell and other PC manufacturers are making their entire laptop display a touchscreen itself, and they're like Ultra HD screens, and you know, they're not just full HD, but they're Ultra HD 4K displays. Those are touchscreens, and while they're doing that, Apple puts a small tiny touch bar at the very top of the keyboard and thinks it's the best thing ever. But like I said, I've never used it before. It may work really well. It may be super intuitive. It may work seamlessly, but right now looking at it, I just think it's a bit hyped up and a little too gimmicky, especially for what's out there, like the Dell XPS 13 that has an Ultra HD touchscreen. I think Apple could have made their entire display a touchscreen, and that would have been a little more practical and a little more useful. But only time will tell, because I obviously ordered one because I'm a hypocrite. Now, I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison test with the Dell XPS 13 for you guys coming up, and I want to do a full review of these MacBook Pros. I ordered the base 512 gigabyte 13-inch model, so I will have that coming in towards the end of November, and so be looking for a review and comparison for the new MacBook Pros compared to the Dell XPS 13. Stick around if you haven't subscribed. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and look forward to that review of the MacBook Pro. Let me know what you think of these new MacBook Pros in the comment section below, and make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Andy, and I will talk to you in the next video.